Today, my 6-year-old daughter is home from school. She's sick with a fever, and I've spent the day primarily working. Sure, have I checked in with her and made sure she's physically well enough? Yes, I have. Has she been taking the medication she needs? Absolutely. Is she getting the entertainment and the food that she needs in order to do okay? 100%. When her needs are met, I have been going back and working and doing the things that I need to do to be a CEO and run my business. And I don't feel guilty about it. Historically, when women have to do something that interferes with what society says is our primary role of taking care of our children, we are trained to feel extremely guilty about it. There's this deep conditioning. If my child needs something and I choose to do something else, whether that's work or something for pleasure, or I'm just not around in that moment in case they need something, then I am a bad mom. And I deserve to feel guilty. And that is a really uncomfortable place to be because most of us do have to work. And a lot of us also have children. And so we're in constant conflict. It always feels like you can't win. If you're working, then you're failing as a mom. If you're being a present mom, then you're failing at your job. You can't have your cake and eat it too. But I have a different outlook on this. I think that having my daughter watch me be the CEO I want to be, watch me work really hard for my dreams and produce content that feels good to me and enjoy it and come out not bitter, right? Not like, oh, I've had to deal with you and you were home and I had to work and then I didn't like that, but saying, you know what? I'm going to work and you're okay. And if you need me, you know where I am, but I'm going to do this thing that's important to me and good for me and good for our family. I think that is actually empowering. One of my primary objectives as a mom is to model for my daughter that it is okay to be a real person and it is okay to be someone who owns her own business and is successful so that she knows that that is a valued and normal thing for a woman to do. My mom was a working mom. My mom was a clinical psychologist in private practice. She co-ran the practice with my dad. And I think one of the most inspiring things I watched throughout my childhood was her working in her professional role and feeling so inspired and proud and the excitement and the accomplishing of things. It has never been in my mind that I could not accomplish things because I watched my mom do it every single day. I've never felt this pressure, this angst where it's like, oh no, I should be home. I shouldn't be pursuing my dreams because I was the child while I had a woman do those things. And I still got all of my needs met and I still felt inspired. And I looked ahead and said, you know what? She could do that. And I could do that too. And I think our culture really punishes this. Our culture is very much like, well, if you're working in a moment where your child needs you, your priorities are wrong. You know, if you are pursuing something that's important to yourself and your identity, and there is a child watching you, then you're being selfish. I don't think men are penalized in this way. There's a real difference, I believe, between being a female and a male entrepreneur. And this is one of the ways it shows up in the guilt and the pressure. But I really think that when I am functioning in my fullest, most aligned version of myself, and when I am showing up as the CEO I want to be, and my daughter watches me do that, how empowering is that? What I'm saying to her is, you can do this too. You can have this too. You can build anything that you want, and you can do it, and you can love it, and it can work for you. And that modeling, that representation is extremely important to children, and especially extremely important to girls who don't always have that model ahead of them. Now, would I leave my child like in distress to work? Of course not, right? She's totally fine. She's really enjoying all the screen time that she doesn't usually get to have. She got to watch Moana 2 and Mulan 2. For some reason, we're watching all the 2s. Maybe we're bored of the 1s. So there's a difference, right, between obviously neglecting somebody, but she's perfectly fine. She's had a fine day, and she keeps coming in and telling me that she's really proud of me. And I think that's true. I think watching me do these things is inspiring for her. And it does give her these ideas about who she can be and what she can do. And the truth, what I want for her is to realize that her potential is limitless. And this might be something you're struggling with, you know, as you're working and growing your practice. If you are both a mom and an entrepreneur, there might be this feeling like, oh no, should I want to be around my child all the time, right? Am I a bad mom if I'm in a growth phase and really working towards something hard and I'm a little bit less available? Am I hurting my children through this? And the reality is that in the context of a secure relationship, I mean, I can say this as a child psychologist, I can put on my child psychologist hat right now and tell you no, that things will be fine and that you want to embody the person you want your daughter to grow up to be as much as you can so that there are no barriers in her path. That's why I don't believe in mom guilt about this. So I don't know how you'll feel about this. This is a slightly different take from my normal Worth It content. But I do think that being a female entrepreneur and a mom entrepreneur is something that we have to talk about because it's your mindset as you're approaching these goals that really changes whether or not they're attainable to you. So I hope this was helpful. I hope you liked this little change in gears, interested to know what you think, and I hope you have an absolutely wonderful week.